Okay. Could you say and spell your name, please?
My name is Karen Angotti, Karenangotti.
Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
I was born and raised in Monmouth, Illinois. My parents were Bernadine and Everett Bowman. I went to Monmouth College for 1 year. Then I transferred to Indiana University. I graduated eventually from Pace University in New York and did master's work at the University of Miami. And actually it was in early childhood special education.
Okay. How long have you, what provoked you to starting your organization, Rainbow Riders?
You know, we were getting ready to retire, and we went to several places around the country, and none of them seemed to work for us. And we owned this piece of property actually here in Monmouth, which we'd purchased from my father years ago, never thinking I would come back here. And we came and we said, you know what? We've never built a house. Wouldn't it be great to do that? So we did that. We designed the house and we built the house. And during that period of time, my husband was at the middle school of journalism. And one of his students we met his parents. I met his parents. And the mother was a therapeutic horseback riding instructor and an occupational therapist. And we had conversation one evening, and when they heard my background and knew we were going to retire here and that I wanted to teach riding, I just wanted to have a horse and, you know, give back to the kids here, because at one point I had taught riding here and been really involved with horses. And they said, oh, you really should do look into therapeutic horseback riding. And I said, what's that? And they said, Mom said, come and see. So I did. I flew to St. Louis and I observed. I worked in the arena as a sidewalker, as a volunteer. And when I saw what they were doing with these young people, I just totally flipped out. I said, you know, if I could ever bring something like that to my hometown, wouldn't that just be fantastic? Anyhow, so they explained to me what I should do, which was basically start out volunteering at a center, which I did in north of Chicago. And I did that for about 6 months, and I worked actually as a sidewalker with a child who was autistic, who actually gained language in the process of his ride. That's a huge incentive. When you see that happening, you want to avail that opportunity to as many kids as you can. So I went through, took a year of training, did everything that was required. We built an arena, we built the house, we built the arena, brought in one horse. 3 of my dear friends from Monmouth, from my high school years, came in to support me and do the volunteer part of leading the horse, sidewalking the horse while the rider rode, and I did my lesson preparations and provided the lessons for the rider. And after 25 hours of doing that, I became a certified horseback riding instructor, and that's how it all started. And as far as I'm concerned, we're going into our 10th year. And as far as I'm concerned, it's probably one of the more important things I've ever done in my life. And the rewards are fantastic. Not just from the riders, but from the volunteers. What we've offered to the families, it's huge.
Yeah. Okay. Why did you choose horses?
Why did I choose horses? Well, I kind of grew up with horses. I've loved horses. Did I know everything about horses? No, I certainly did not. I certainly did not know about cleaning up after horses. I did not know really about caring for horses, but I have certainly learned that. And I continue to learn, and I have found people who can help me do that. It takes a whole, you hear about, it takes a village to raise a child. it takes a village, it takes a community, it takes all kinds of wonderful people to make something like this happen. Yeah. Uh, yeah. And the horses, why did I choose the horses? I didn't know at the time the benefit. I mean, the horses are therapeutic for everyone. But how did I didn't know anything about therapeutic for those who are compromised in some way, especially, children. So, going through the training, I learned what the horse can actually do for children with autism, for children with cerebral palsy, Down syndrome. We have children riding with chromosome deficiencies. Sensory processing delay, seizure disorder. It's phenomenal. Sight impaired. What does the horse do? It does something different for every single one of them. But what it does for all of them is give them self-confidence. It's hard for them. They don't do other things. They're not out on the playing fields. They can't participate in sports. But man, they can ride a horse. So they all benefit in that way. Yeah. And then each one individually. So why the horse? The horse makes all the difference in the world. Yeah. The movement of the horse is the catalyst for the therapy.
Okay. What struggles have you faced over the years with Rainbow Riders?
I think the biggest struggle is, being able to finance it. We invested a lot of money out here to get this started. And we knew we only had so much we could spend on that. And when that money ran out, it was time to, okay, so, what do you do now? I did not want to be, at the time, I'll be quite honest, I did not want to be a not-for-profit because I hate asking people for money. And in order to be a not-for-profit and subsidized, you have to be able to do that. However, I counseled with people who knew more than I did, and they said, Karen, you're never going to make it unless you become a not-for-profit. So we did. The biggest struggle, I think, for me is the fundraising. But what's happened in the past, that was really hard initially, and now now that people have become aware of the benefits of therapeutic horseback riding, what it can provide for the children, the families, the volunteers, the community at large, they're coming to us and saying, how can we help? That is a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing.
Okay.
Do you want to know the other hard thing?
Yeah.
What is this?
Sure.
When a horse dies.
Yeah.
When one of your therapy horses leaves you, it's hard.
What have been your greatest accomplishments with Rainbow Riders?
Ooh, I can't take credit for really anything except bringing in awareness. That was hard at the beginning too. People didn't understand. 10 years later, people have a feeling. They now know kids who have benefited. So they see it themselves. And I think that's probably the most important thing that I brought is an awareness.
Could you tell me about the awards you have received over the years?
Well, when we have Ribbon Day at the end of the summer, sometimes the kids give me a hug when I give them their ribbon. That's pretty big stuff. When members of families embrace you and say thank you so much for what you're doing, that's huge. That's probably the biggest award. On the community level, there have been several. I mean, I was several years ago, I was given the Athena Award it's given to a woman who has actually has been helpful to the community in one way or another in leadership. And last year I was honored by the Chamber of Commerce as the Citizen of the Year, which was a huge, huge surprise and an incredible honor. And that is based on providing for the community in a very special way, and I'm very grateful for that and highly honored.
Okay. Well, you didn't write the book, so I'm not going to ask that question. Could you talk a little bit more about what the Ribbon Day celebration consists of, or what it exactly is?
Sure. Ribbon Day is, we ride 3 programs in the summer, and they're color-coded, basically because that helps me remember where we are. But we have the red program, the blue program, and the yellow program. A rider who rides in the red program at the end of the summer receives a red ribbon for completing that riding program. We feel it really important for that to happen. So if a rider rides all summer long, go get that dog. If a rider rides all summer, just go out with them and sit with them for a second. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I can edit this part.
Okay, I know. If a rider rides all 3 programs, they receive all 3 ribbons. And if a rider rides all 3 programs, they receive 3 ribbons. And we have, it's a ceremony. And we present each rider with the ribbons that they have earned. It's not, they're not just given a ribbon because we think they're wonderful, that they're special, but they're given a ribbon because they earned it by accomplishing the rides. And some of them, and then they know that they've earned them. They know that they've earned those ribbons. This year, we're doing it a little bit differently. We're doing it on a different, at a different time, hoping to bring more families together because they need to see one another. The families need to know the other families that are riding out, that have children riding out here. So, you know, we encourage that.
Okay. What is the Youth Volunteer Leadership Program?
The Youth Volunteer Leadership Program came about because there are so many young people in this area who want to be a part of a horse's life. And we had families coming, you know, sometimes to volunteer, and they would bring a child, and the child wanted to help out. Well, you know, that takes a great deal of oversight to have a child working with these large animals. So we were finding, you know, there was a need. There was a need to incorporate some kind of program that was going to feed these kids. And we went to the Galesburg Community Foundation in Galesburg, and we discussed with them, and they provided us with the funding for the first year to provide a program for, at that point, it was 24 young people in the summer, to train them to be volunteers, how to groom a horse, saddle a horse, and then take the horse into the arena, where then they could actually see a rider ride who was a special needs rider. So they had there was a direct correlation between the volunteer effort and what they were providing. And we designed a curriculum that deals with words like responsibility, compassion, teamwork, all those good things. And it has proven to be very successful. We're in I think it's our 4th year with that. And we are now serving 30 young people in the summer. And that's in addition to our other program. We have Camp Rainbow, which we provide 3 Camp Rainbow days. And those are for compromised adults who live in group homes, who don't often get out to do anything outside. You know, Special Olympics is wonderful, but this is different. This is something they own. It's their own thing, and they love it. So they come for 3 hours, and they bond with the horses, and they get to ride, and they have a craft project, and they get to go out on the sensory trail and pick wildflowers, and it's a wonderful day. So we're just very proud to be able to offer that as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What do the board of directors do?
What do the board of directors do?
Mm-hmm.
They meet periodically. Can I back up just 1 second?
Yeah.
Because we have another program, the PASS program.
Okay.
We have an alternative school here in this community, and those students really don't have an opportunity. They're students who don't really fit into the junior high or the high school.
Mm-hmm.
So they're trying to earn a degree, possibly through the alternative school. There aren't outside activities for those students. They are in a classroom setting at a computer every day. My feeling is that they're kind of the forgotten group, and they have huge, huge potential.
Mm-hmm.
But in order to, touch base with that potential, there has to be some human outside interaction. We provide a program for a few of those students each year where they actually work with a horse, where they learn trust, responsibility, and how to bond without, and how to manage a huge animal without discipline, with simply using their body language, their voice, and forming a trusting relationship. That to me is, we can't serve enough students as far as I'm concerned with that program.
Mm-hmm.
And your next question, go ahead.
What do the board of directors do?
The board of directors are crucial in the governance of the program. It's up to them to oversee what it is we're doing out here. How, are we financially stable? What do we need to do? They oversee staff. As the director, I report directly to them. Mm-hmm. They are responsible for fundraising, because I can't do all of that myself, and nor can any director. I mean, our job is to oversee program and the staff who works the program. Mm-hmm. They are financially responsible. They are expected to contribute to the organization, and we are very fortunate. Our board of directors has come from a base of people who volunteered out here, and now that's grown. It's grown into a lovely way, to include those people in the community who can serve the operation on many different levels. One of the members of our board of directors is a solid volunteer and right hand to me out here when it comes to mending fences, doing anything on the property. Mm-hmm. And quite frankly, I don't know what I would do without him, but that's not usual. That's quite unusual. Mm-hmm. So we're fortunate.
How has Rainbow Riders changed since it first started?
How has Rainbow Riders changed since it first started? Well, it started with one horse and one rider. We ended up with 2 riders that first summer when I was doing my internship with PATH International. We have become a PATH International Center, Professional Association for Therapeutic Horsemanship. We maintain that. We follow their safety standards. That has helped us immensely grow into the programs that we have now. It's a wonderful support system for us for expertise, workshops. In fact, I just came back from a conference 2 weeks ago where I learned a whole lot of wonderful things updated that we need to have here. We are extremely credible. How has it changed in other ways? Well, from the 2 riders that first summer, we now serve about 121 people during our summer program time, and that's within basically 3 months with 1 month set aside for just the PASS alternative program. That's huge. And I have to tell you, you know, I've been able to mentor 4 other instructors. We are now down to 3 of us. 2 of them have now left. They did their jobs here, and now they're on to other things. I think at the beginning, you know, it's really the most important thing, I think, is that initially I didn't have a vision this big. That doesn't happen. People say, what was your vision? Well, my vision was to bring this here and start it. I had no idea where it was going to go. But it just took on a life of its own. Fortunately, my husband and I had the energy to support that, and there were enough people here who wanted to support it too. It would never have happened in any other community. If I had been in any other place, this would not have worked for me. It was only because I came from here, and because the people, there was enough contact still of, you know, with me. I honestly feel if it hadn't been for my knowing this community and knowing enough people that were still here that eventually would support us, I could not have made this happen anywhere else. It just would not have worked.
Okay. Is there anything else that you would like to add?
The goal right now is sustainability. We want, this program has proven so successful from the standpoint of the riders and the volunteers and the families and the community at large who, you know, who cares so much. I want it to go on. I don't, that my biggest hope and dream is that it will continue for a long time to come, and we are doing things to try and make that happen. And the building of this arena that we have done, the wonderful response we had from the capital campaign that has allowed us to build this covered mini open-sided arena is just one indication of the fact that the goal, my goal, will be met. It will sustain.
All right. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.